right, we're on the record.
Call the Township Council meeting of July 20th, 2021 to order. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building on December 18th, 2020, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December 22nd, 2020, and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers and local radio stations on December 18th, 2020. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Public Access Channel 21 at 7 p.m. Sundays and Wednesdays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net. Would you all join me in the flag salute? Paul?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening, Mayor, how are you?
Sure.
Am I going to roll call? Mr. Carriffy?
Here.
Ms. Grignani? Ms. Grignani is excused, has an excused absence. Ms. McCarthy?
Here.
Ms. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor Michael Soriano, Business Administrator Frank Carr, Township Attorney Jim Lott, CFO Juan Uribe, and the Municipal Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, August 7th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Agenda meeting, August 17th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Regular meeting. Presentations, Mayor?
Hold on one second. August 7th is a Saturday.
I won't be here.
Yeah, you will.
August
So
3rd.
August 3rd.
Yeah.
Sorry for the typo. Thanks, Emily, for saying it on
Thank
the
you,
record.
Emily.
Just making sure you're not expecting me here.
Your excuse, Emily.
Thank you.
It would have been a short meeting. Mayor, up to you.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Thanks to generous donations from Onyx Properties for $75,000 to supplement and basically take care of the entire bill for our July 4th fireworks, and Provident Bank for a donation of $5,000 that we were able to have a summer concert recently, but some of the normal routines that we are used to here in Parsippany for summer that we missed so much last year are back. Now, this is not just something that happens randomly. A lot of hard work was done here in Parsippany by Parsippany residents and officials, and most notably our first responders and our health department. So I'd like to make you aware of some numbers, some good news. Right now, as of today, nearly every Parsippany resident age 65 and older, over 99% actually, has received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Every Parsippany resident 65 and over. 77% of all eligible residents have received at least one shot. That's 77%, all eligible. 94% of all residents 65 and older are fully vaccinated. It's a lot higher than the state average right now. And 70% of all eligible residents are fully vaccinated. 70. These are really good numbers. They're promising. And that's even with a lot of the talk in the news of what's going on with the variant and some of the surges. We are monitoring that here in Parsippany. We know that we do not have magical borders that will prevent this from coming in, but the residents here in Parsippany have done well, and by doing best practices, social distancing, getting themselves vaccinated, and staying healthy. And I want to thank everyone in Parsippany that has partaken in that, especially our healthcare workers and our first responders. Now, as of Tuesday, July 20th, the total number of COVID-19 cases in Parsippany stands at 4,294. This marks an increase of 19 cases in the past 7 days. So just keep doing what you're doing. Wear a mask when necessary. That is your own choice. Practice social distancing, avoid crowds, ventilate indoor spaces, wash hands frequently, and please speak to your doctor if you have not been vaccinated yet about getting vaccinated. So if you do need to get vaccinated, okay, in Parsippany, you can sign up for a vaccination appointment by going to covid19nj.gov/pages/finder or vaccines.gov. The Morris County vaccination mega site at the Rockaway Mall, it's now closed. But you can contact just about every pharmacy in Parsippany to set up vaccination appointments. Also, rental aid is still available to Parsippany renters and landlords. New Jersey's COVID-19 moratorium on residential evictions prepares to end in January. So Morris County Department of Human Services has received more than $14.6 million in rental assistance to disperse amongst qualified families. The aid can also assist landlords as well as qualified families. So call 609-490-4550 for more information. And on other good news, Sustainable Jersey awarded a $2,000 grant to the township from Sustainable Jersey, as I said. It's funded by the PSEG Foundation. This grant focuses on researching renewable resources at municipal facilities while reducing the town's carbon footprint. This coming August 1st, like we do the first Sunday in every August, we will have the Raoul Wallenberg ceremony. It'll be streaming online. We have a Raoul Wallenberg memorial here at Smithfield Park. It's a stylized heart, which symbolizes courage and compassion. The township is doing this again in coordination with spiritual leaders in Parsippany, and will honor the memory of Swedish diplomat Raoul Wallenberg on Saturday, August 1st. Raoul Wallenberg smuggled thousands and thousands of people out of Nazi-occupied territory during the Holocaust, and is a hero to many, including myself. This will be Sunday, August 1st, beginning at 1 o'clock at the Raoul Wallenberg Monument at Smithfield. Coffee at a Cop returns to Parsippany on Friday, July 30th at 10 a.m. at Spencer Savings Bank on Littleton Road. Craftsman Farms grounds have finally reopened to the public for tours on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at Craftsman Farms. And you'll be getting more information on this, but our Department of Health and our Department of Public Works has been working on informing the public, especially the retailers, about the return of enforcement for the single-use plastic bag ban that returns on September 8th. Okay, the moratorium on enforcing that is over. So that's coming to you soon. The education is happening with the retailers as we speak. Today, I have submitted a budget for the council for approval and for submission. Now, reductions have been made in the appropriations across the entire budget, with increases in revenues after numerous changes and considerable dialogue with DCA, department and division heads, and talking after our initial submission. Now, included in the budget is a $2.3 million in the special emergency note, along with $2.7 million received recently as part of the American Rescue Plan. Now, DCA, also known as DLGS, they're cognizant of our budgetary woes, and they have pre-authorized the cancellation of appropriation reserves to help us balance our budget. The draft resolution for budget introduction and the resolution for the cancellation of appropriation reserves is also provided. This budget is balanced, and we are introducing a tax increase of only 2.15%. That's 2.15%. If any member of the public or if council has any questions related to this, the Chief Financial Officer, Juan Uribe, will be happy to answer those questions during his portion, during his report. And finally, and not last, Tonight marks the end of Eid al-Adha, and we have some of our Parsippany residents here to commemorate that. They are from the Parsippany Islamic Cultural Center, located on South Beverwick Road. And I would like Taj Corker to come up to the microphone with me. And grab these because I'm old.
We don't use that word.
Yes, we do. Khaled, we good? Okay.
Good.
All right. Come right here. Okay. I'd like to read this proclamation into the record. Proclamation, Eid al-Adha, July 19th to July 20th, 2021. Whereas Eid al-Adha is an important holy day commemorated by Muslims worldwide, Eid al-Adha marks the end of Hajj, the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. And whereas Eid al-Adha is celebrated by gathering with family and friends, gift-giving, and helping the poor. And whereas the many Muslims who live, work, and worship in the township of Parsippany Troy Hills observe Eid al-Adha on July 20th, 2021. And whereas Muslims join in celebrating during this holy time to declare devotion, kindness, and equality of all Muslims through faith and service to the community. And whereas one of the most important practices during Eid al-Adha is sharing of food with family, friends, and those less fortunate, reminding all who celebrate that, like family, a community must be nurtured and supported through the good deeds and selflessness of others. Now, therefore, I, Michael A. Soriano, Mayor of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, do hereby extend our best wishes to the Muslim community and encourage all citizens to recognize this auspicious holy day.
Thank you, Edna.
Sure.
It's okay. Thank you.
Blessings to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Council President, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The fireworks donation and the concert donation are a big deal. I think it's appropriate for the township to order either a plaque or issue proclamations from the mayor and council thanking them for their donations.
I would say a proclamation's in order.
So if you prepare it, it's from the mayor and the council.
We can get that done.
Thank you. The township budget, has that been certified by our auditor?
She will have the time to review it, Council President.
Well,
It was forwarded a few minutes ago by our administrator, so she's going to be able to review it tomorrow.
All right, I'm not accepting the budget until it gets certified by our auditor. That's the law.
That is part of the process. We are submitting it to you.
No,
You give it to the auditor.
no. You have it certified and then you submit it to us. Township Council, anybody?
Wait, hold on.
Council President, everybody has it.
Everybody has what?
The budget, the auditor has it, you have it, they all have the same document. When she's completed it, she can get with the council
Well,
and certify
I
it.
recommend that the council members not look at the budget until it's certified.
That's fine, sir, that's your
That's your
choice.
choice.
No, that's the way that's the process, the way it's supposed to happen.
Has the annual financial statement been submitted to the state?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
The first one was submitted on, back in March, don't remember the specific date of March. The revised version, which was produced by the auditor on April 16th, was submitted to the state about 10 days ago.
10 days ago?
Yes, ma'am. It took a little bit longer to submit it because we did not know still if that was going to continue changing. Changes were confirmed last week with conversation from state staff. Changes didn't occur, and then it was submitted to the state.
Okay, when will we receive copies of the budget?
You already should have received them by now.
You got them tonight?
No.
No. I don't have it.
If,
Look underneath, it's in that folder that I gave you.
yeah. I can forward them tomorrow morning in case you didn't receive them yet.
We have electronic copies also. Those are just your change pages.
All right. I won't be looking at that until the auditor tells us that it's certified.
That's your choice.
So those are only the change pages, as I said, not the whole 700 pages. And we didn't get our final, as Juan mentioned before, from DCA till last Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Council President?
Mr. Lott?
Just so we're clear on process, under the Faulkner Act, the mayor has the responsibility to present the budget to council. It does not require certification of the municipal auditor. The obligation of council is then to introduce the budget. If the council wants to have the budget certified at that time, that's at the discretion of the council.
I question your legal opinion. I've been doing it this way for 40 years, and the council has never accepted a budget until it was certified.
Is the audit complete?
So you've been doing it wrong.
Juan,
The audit has not been completed yet.
From last year.
why is that?
That's a good question, and we don't have any control over the field work of the auditors. We just provide what they need. At this point, if it's not completed, it's up to them.
All right, we'll find out about that.
Even though I need to clarify that the extended deadline for the audit, goes to September 1st, as far as I remember. So if they haven't submitted it yet, still they are within the time frame stipulated for standard submission of the audit.
Township Council, anybody else have something on the council? Township Attorney?
Thank you, Council President. I have closed session items as noted on the agenda. There was also a question raised at the last council meeting about payments made to the court-appointed special master in the affordable housing litigation. I was able to check with the CFO and the administrator's office. Since February of 2016 through June 1st of 2021, approximately $160,000 has been spent with the special master. The special master is Brian Slough, who's with the planning firm Clark King Heinz. He is paid $250 an hour, which is the standard rate paid to all special masters throughout the state. And then I also have several technical amendments to offer to the Cannabis Ordinance 2021-14, and I will detail those prior to the start of the public hearing. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, thank you. Business Administrator?
Yes, Council President. I've invited Donnelly Energy Solutions to give a quick overview of the DPU's direct install questions and to answer any council questions with regards to our program. And also we have Matt Kavanaugh over there providing his 6-foot social distance. No longer required. He's a Navy guy. You gotta be careful. Watch your wallet. So, go ahead. So, it's on you. Microphone's yours.
Good evening. My name is Brett Knaus, and I'm an energy consultant with Donnelly Energy. And we've been working with the township and the green team to upgrade 4 of the township buildings that we haven't completed yet through the direct install program that my company implements. Through the program, LED lights and heating and HVAC equipment are eligible to be upgraded with a sliding scale incentive up to 80%. We've conducted the energy assessments throughout the town and have 4 buildings that we have proposed to do work in, and that is the town hall, what we haven't done yet, an LED, like obviously we've done the lights in this room. We could do a second phase. Also, we can do work in the Parks and Forestry building, the DPW, and the biggest project is the library. Through the program, the township does not have to pay anything out of pocket. The work can be 100% completed, and that is because New Jersey Natural Gas offers interest-free on-bill financing for 3 years. So you can take your customer cost after the incentive is taken off from the state, and you can amortize those payments over 36 payments, and that is an on-bill New Jersey Natural Gas financing. I have breakdowns of all of the different projects with all the numbers and details. If you'd like to see them, leave them here. along with my contact information if there's any other specific questions.
Why don't you give everybody the sheet while you're talking? Let them
Absolutely.
look at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in the handout that I just provided has a breakdown of the 4 projects. And then at the top, project breakdown is the cost and of the specific project. And then the bottom has the long-term positive cash flow broken down for you on the estimated savings and the payback period.
Who pays for the library? The library budget or the township budget?
The library has their own, the library budget. We only subsidize, so they get the mill rate, and then, that comes off their bill that they pay. The only thing we subsidize, as you know, is their health insurance.
Okay, so that's theirs.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Are they aware of that?
They have the same information in the briefing, and Melissa and I had this conversation maybe 2 weeks ago.
Great.
Why is Parks and Forestry in red deficit for year 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, so because of the interest-free financing, the other project, 2 other projects are cash flow positive starting day 1. Those 2 just aren't generating cash flow positive results based on the monthly payment versus on the monthly savings. So that's why we have it in red, and we show that after year 3, those 2 projects, both the library and the Parks and Forestry, then become cash flow positive. And you start seeing direct savings from the reduction of electric and gas consumption.
Okay. Any questions from the council members?
Does this count towards the points that we acquire for the Clean Towns
For the
initiative?
green team.
Green
Yes.
team, yes. Great.
This is worth 50 points.
Is that out of 100 or out of 10,000?
6 million.
A lot of points.
Yeah, there's 1,400 points in Sustainable Jersey, and this is 50 towards either silver or gold certification.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Just try being married to me.
Any other questions from the council?
No. Yes, no.
Should we open questions to the public while you're up here? This is not normal, but anybody from unless you're gonna sit here all night.
No.
I can field any questions. If anybody has any questions about the program?
If anybody has any questions about the program, come forward now, just on this topic alone.
Yep, here it is.
All right, seeing no one come forward, you're off the hook.
All right, thank you very much.
Make a run
Appreciate your
for it,
time. I'll
right
leave my
now.
business card and also the summaries here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anything else, Mr. Carr?
No, sir, I'm finished.
Thank you. Township clerk,
No report at this time, Council President, thank you.
any, reports from, township offices and committees? Any correspondence?
None.
Okay, thank you. Bids taken, 6/10/21, various parks court resurfacing renovation projects for Parsippany Parks Department, it's a rebid. 6/22/21, operation of catering, banquet, restaurant, and tea house facilities and provision of related services at Knoll Country Club, rebid. 6/23/21, Route 10 water tank painting and rehabilitation. No bids to be taken, no quotes. All right, now open the public hearing for NJDEP Green Acres grant application.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani is absent. Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
The floor is open to the public on this matter only with regard to the NJDEP Green Acres grant. Anyone?
Council President, if I may. So we have two public hearings on here for the purposes of the public. The township is looking from Green Acres, and the second public meeting as required by law is to request money from the Morris County Open Space Trust Fund. Basically a duplication for the same piece of property, because we don't know how much money we're gonna get from either group, but both, it's the same application for acquisition like we talked about at last council meeting for the same piece of property, that Keystone piece that we're looking for, but they both require a public hearing of our application. That's why they're back-to-back on tonight's council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Seeing no one come forward, I entertain a motion to close.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by, Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
And the next item, public hearing for Morris County Open Space Grant Application. Entertain the motion to open.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is open on this matter only. Seeing no one.
Seeing no one come forward, entertain a motion to close.
Too late, Bob, too late. No, I'm just kidding. Come on up, man.
Come on up, Bob. This is only on the Morris County grant.
Oh, come on, Bob. You're giving us a hard time here.
But don't go far.
You're slipping.
You're
Slipping.
Get closer, get closer.
next item.
Entertain a motion to close.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. A motion to open to the public on any matter whatsoever.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
The floor is open to the public on any matter. Please.
Yeah, state your name, sign in, state your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Edna Rada, and my husband and I live at 239 East Halsey Road at the intersection of Westminster Drive and at the edge of the industrial area surrounding Jefferson Road. We have been living in our house for 36 years and have seen many changes take place over those years. When we moved in 36 years ago, there was a small manufacturing company directly across the street from us. When it was taken over by Merck Medco, the parking lot was expanded, new parking lot lighting was installed, and it shines all night long into our front windows. That facility is now Pinnacle Foods and Zimmer Biomet. Then when J.D. Carton was still in operation, there was a constant flow of moving trucks that traveled up and down East Halsey Road, along with other tractor trailers that came off of 287 onto this narrow road. Sometimes a truck will stop in front of our house and the driver determines that East Halsey might be too narrow or the wires too low to continue, and the driver will back up onto Westminster Drive to turn around and go back to Jefferson Road. With J.D. Carton gone and the station down on Smith Road not selling gasoline any longer, the truck traffic has settled down somewhat. And then Pfizer used to have a manufacturing facility on Jefferson Road where they made Bengay muscle wrap, and occasionally the smell of Bengay would walk through the neighborhood. This has been replaced by PNY, and ever since we have been bothered by an incessant hum that comes from a unit of some kind from outside the facility. Now we are to face and will have to deal with a cannabis warehouse and distribution facility. We were quite alarmed by the letter we received from the township that listed all the stipulations for compliance and with safety and security and odor and dust control, among other things. If the town has to send out such a notification, then there must be a great concern and foreboding as to how it will affect the quality of our lives living right down the road. An increase in truck traffic, bad odors wafting through the air, and the possibility of criminal activity and bad actors trying things such as burglary or hijacking of trucks so near to where we live. Last year, there were dispensaries in San Francisco, Chicago, and New York City that were broken into and robbed by organized groups. So there is a heightened possibility that there might be an attempted break-in. And what about the school children riding on school buses going through the neighborhood? Will they be in harm's way on their way to school? I'm asking the town not to approve this change in zoning in an area so very, very close to where we live, when the full impact on our neighborhood is still unknown. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to say, this woman ahead of me just described everything that our corridor in that Jefferson Road area also affects Parsippany Road when it comes to truck traffic. The more trucking companies coming out of Eastman's Road, it's the same thing. Every day you'll get tractor trailers who will be coming through even the Lake Parsippany streets. And like I told you before, all you have to do is check the police reports when it comes to how tractor trailers have taken down wires and disrupted English Town Road itself. So when you have set ordinances that would increase this truck traffic in that area, I think you are doing a hardship to the people who live there and to the entire community of the community that surrounds Westminster Drive, the impact on the Lake Parsippany streets on Parsippany Road, and you just can't take it any more of that truck traffic anymore. All you have to do is be on those roads, and believe me, I'm on that road quite a bit now, and I can find at least 3 to 4 tractor trailers in that time period that I am on Parsippany Road to get to Jefferson Road, okay? And the way you have your zoning and the ordinances that are proposed is it's an overburden to the people who live there.
Thank you, Mary.
Sorry for jumping the gun. Bob Venezia, 102 Brooklawn Drive. Tonight, I would like to talk about the proposed development behind St. Christopher's Church. And as a matter of disclosure, you should know that I am a parishioner of that church. Every high-density mega project in town always generates considerable local opposition. The St. Christopher project is no exception. Because of Parsippany's affordable housing obligation, most projects are approved anyway, despite objections from the public. But the proposed development at St. Christopher's is different. It is not one of the projects listed on the affordable housing plan submitted by Parsippany and agreed upon by the court. So without the threat of affordable housing lawsuit, it is highly likely that the proposed development plan at St. Christopher's will not be approved. As soon as the St. Christopher's application is rejected, I recommend that the township and the Board of Education make an offer to purchase the 13-acre property as a shared service venture. I see significant benefits to both parties. For the township, the property would provide the land to finally build a cricket field. The price tag, even without a State Green Acres grant, would be significantly less than the $7 million deal that recently fell through. In fact, if Parsippany's open space funding could be used to purchase the land, the budget wouldn't be affected at all. And as an added benefit, Parsippany could better control the usage of the field because state money would not be involved. The newly acquired property might also be suitable as a well water site, which would help alleviate Parsippany's current water crisis. Shared usage of the property, which is adjacent to Parsippany Hills High School, will also have multiple benefits for the Board of Education. It would provide land for future expansion, something that's likely to be needed given the thousands of apartments that are scheduled to be built in Parsippany over the next 5 years. And it would eliminate the excessive traffic congestion that will occur at the high school if any type of high-density apartment complex is located at this site whose main access point is Rita Drive. I believe that this 13-acre property will become a strategic piece in the long-range plans for both the township and the Board of Education. If it becomes available on the market again, and I firmly believe that it will, Parsippany should be aggressively proactive in acquiring it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob, just one nuance I want to add to that is we, as a township, fairly recently looked at that property for well water, and it did not pan out the way we know.
All right.
It's a very good suggestion, but yeah, you're right on point. But we looked at it thoroughly, and yeah, it wouldn't have
So that's
wouldn't
one
worked out.
down.
That's
There's
one
still
down.
other reasons to get it.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Josephine Saratella. I live in Lake Hiawatha almost 47 years. The property...
Can you get closer to the microphone? Thank you.
The property across from my house, from the side of my house, I'm on a corner, and this house is also on the corner, was bought by a developer about 2 years ago. They don't maintain the property. The neighbors and myself have called several times the mayor's hotline, the action line, and they say they're gonna do something, and it's not done. The bushes, the weeds really, are like 20 feet high on the side, and myself and my neighbors are doing all the cleanup for the snow, for the leaves, for everything. They have taken down part of the house, the siding, and when it's windy, it just flies all around the neighborhood. We had to make them cut the liner of the pool because there was mosquitoes all over. There's a big hole in the house where animals are going in. We see these big animals going in there, and nobody does anything.
Okay, is that it?
I have one more thing.
Wait. Okay.
Can I get the address of your house so we can...
My
find-
house is 72 Calumet, and the
Thank-
other property is 80 Calumet.
80 Calumet, thank you.
Okay. I'm in the process of trying to put up a new fence. My fence that I have is a chain link that my father and my husband put up when I first moved in. Now, we found out from our survey that because my fence is here, it goes down the hill into the other person's property. I own like 7 feet. So I went to I don't remember if it was the planning board or the zoning board, to say I want to know where exactly my line is. They can't help me. They said the survey guy is no longer alive. If I'm to pay money to put a retaining wall to move my fence over, they said there's nobody that would check to see that I'm putting it on the right line. How could that be? You get a permit, they have to have somebody check to see you're putting your fence on the right spot.
I've never done this, but I understand that, the homeowner should hire a surveyor to survey your property
I have the survey.
You have the survey?
I have the survey, and it says from the end of my house over goes 42.3 feet. And if I do that, I'm 7.3 feet behind my fence, where my neighbor now has all his plants on that hill.
Okay, who in the buildings department should we refer her to?
So, since I have your address, ma'am, I'll speak with Jen, the zoning officer, in the morning, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so
Okay.
contact the business administrator, Mr. Carr,
Thank you.
and he'll tell you what the status is.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak?
Thank you, Josephine.
Good evening, Council President.
Good evening.
I have a question for...
Please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, sure. You know where I live. 137 Minnehaha Boulevard. Anyway, that being said, and that should come from the Council President. That's beside the point. I have a question for you, Mr. Lott, with regards to the special masters. Now, as you know, I was mayor for 8 years here. And with regards to the land index site, this is how this whole conversation came out. People have reached out to me, to the Council President, that when that project was approved, land index, I guess there was really no water capacity at the time. So from what I understand, the township went back to the developer and said that we don't have the water capacity, and this went back to court, and that's when the special masters was put in by the judge. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been hearing. And if that's the case, land index probably should have never really happened at that point. So that being said, you don't have to answer the question tonight. I know a lot of it's attorney-client privilege. I get
No, I can answer a portion of that, all right?
Will you wait till...
Go ahead, Mayor.
All right. I have another question. This one I'm gonna give to the CFO. You want me to give my questions first?
First.
Okay. One, I have a question for you because the mayor just alluded to the fact that, and I could be wrong, that appropriations were forgiven, were canceled.
Yes, there was a cancellation of appropriation reserves in the amount of $1.1 million.
Right, so they just forgave the township of all the appropriations? Because if you have an emergency, and I don't know if there's any emergency appropriations in this or anything like that, that's to be raised in the following year, am I correct?
Not necessarily. The appropriation reserves on the second year lapses to fund balance.
Right.
So essentially, you're just detracting a little bit of funds from fund balance, but doesn't have any other
So then, okay, so then my other question is the fact that now we're borrowing how much money?
$2.3 million.
2 point what?
$2.3 million.
Okay, $2.3 million, and that's gonna be paid back by the American Rescue Plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and I've done several of these applications. So the DCA approved that you could use those funds
Yes,
to
they
pay?
they are.
It seems like, I mean, I should let you finish, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's my
No,
fault.
so it seems as though that somewhere along the line, that we're not gonna have that extra 2.3 million down the road. Because if you're going to have an influx of money coming in, from which you guys approved, I guess, when you have the influx, and then you get paid back, I know it doesn't show as revenue, it's not supposed to.
Yeah, it may sound like counter accounting, but in reality, 50% of those funds were provided in 2021, 50%
Right. You
will
have
be
to show,
provided
I know.
in 2022, and then 2022 funds will be used to pay a portion of the note. The note, being a special emergency note, is to be amortized within 5 years. So
Right.
we have to appropriate the fifth every year onto full amortization.
All right, you're right on that, I understand all that part. Okay,
Okay, my
Answer
turn.
My question, sir. It's your turn, sir.
Okay.
Glad I did.
Index is somewhat complicated, okay? There are actually two sets of affordable housing numbers. The first set is referred to as RDP, which is the realistic development potential. The land index site was not identified as part of the RDP, all right? It was identified, however, as part of the second number, which is unmet need, okay? The township did go to the special master in the court and ask for clarification as to whether or not we were obligated to serve an unmet need site prior to serving all of the RDP sites.
Right.
Now, Land Index has a water allocation. There's an existing office building there, right? So they essentially get credit for the water that they're currently using. And we did provide the special master with a series of, water flow calculations, right? And the special master determined that there is no distinction between RDP sites and unmet need sites for the purposes of water, and he concluded that there was sufficient water to serve the Land Index site.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, all right. There was a nuance there, and as I said, we did take the affirmative obligation to go to the special master and ask them, should we be serving him before RDP? And he said, for purposes of affordable housing, it's all affordable housing. It's first come, first serve for the water that was allocated for affordable housing purposes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, yep.
And my last question is not even a question. I think it was 2014, we created the, council president at the time, Paul Creefy, and I, we created the finance committee. And that was done for a reason, to have coordinations with the mayor's office and coordination with the township council. Council President, you would have had that budget by March or April. There's no need you should have waited this long. Even if it goes down to the state, they get approval from the DCA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing no one come forward, I entertain a motion to close the public.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Okay, ordinance 2021:13.
Amending and supplementing Chapter A 445 fees, compilation of the code. The notice for the ordinance 2021:13 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on June 23rd, 2021, and introduced at the June 15th, 2021 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2021:13 to be heard in their second and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public hearing, motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2021:13.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
The floor is open for this ordinance only. Seeing no one.
Motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 2021:13.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion
Whereas
passes.
the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held thereon, now therefore it be resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that the notice of the final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2021:13.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2021:14, establishing Chapter 77 related to cannabis regulation and amending Chapter 430, zoning to conditionally permit certain cannabis establishments in designated zone districts. The notice for ordinance 2021:14 was published in the Daily Record, official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on June 23rd, 2021, and introduced at the June 15th, 2021 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2021:14 to be heard in their second and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Lot?
Yeah, and Council President, I have some technical amendments I'd like council to consider, as I indicated in my earlier report with respect to ordinance 2114. Copy of the amendments were provided to council. A copy was also laid before the public. I'm going to summarize the comments. It's mostly housekeeping involving formatting. We did delete, in a couple of instances, some surplus words, changed some punctuation, corrected some spelling. I'm not going to detail all of those unless council wants me to do that. The one change that I will note is a recommendation that we actually received from the planning board, and that was just to clarify that we are only authorizing Class 3 and 4 licenses, and then we, with the amendment, expressly prohibits the issuance of any other license. Class 1, 2, 5, and 6 licenses are expressly prohibited. I'd ask council to take action on the proposed amendments, and I would ask for a roll call vote on those amendments before opening the public hearing.
Mr. Lot, a clarification.
Yep.
What are those 4 uses, 1, 2, 5, and 6, that are being restricted and not allowed?
Sure, Mayor, and I'll read the amendment, and that is pursuant to Section 31B of the Cannabis Act, all other classes of licenses of cannabis businesses are hereby expressly prohibited, including Class 1, which is cannabis cultivator, Class 2, manufacturing, Class 3, cannabis retail, and Class 6, cannabis delivery. Those are proposed to be...
Class 5 and Class 6.
I'm sorry, Class 5 is cannabis retailer, and Class 6 is cannabis delivery.
Right.
Right. And we are expressly prohibiting those throughout the township.
I'll make a motion to accept those amendments.
Second.
Roll call?
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Okay, make a motion to open up the public hearing on this ordinance and this ordinance only.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
And Council President, I'll note for the record that the planning board did provide a referral to a governing body and found that the proposed ordinance is consistent with the master plan.
Thank you.
Any member of the public want to comment on this ordinance only?
That was your point to us, Mary. I brought it up at the planning board meeting.
I thank you for that. I hope it's specifically clear to all the people who would like to open up some kind of
Mary, for the record, you need to
industry.
state your name and address again.
Mary Przicki, 273 Marcella Road. I just wanted to read you something from the Daily Record. Sometimes newspapers are pretty good. The New Jersey Cannabis Regulation Commission, they met on July the 13th to decide how they would really regulate this industry, okay? And they have until August the 21st to pass their recommendations for municipalities to abide by. So towns have until August the 21st, and so does the Cannabis Regulation Commission has to August the 21st to set their regulations. So the League of Municipalities, which offers information and guidance to municipal officers, has recommended to the towns to opt out until the CRC, which oversees both legal, they call it weed in the paper, which I don't mind, and medical marijuana industries in the Garden State, issue its formal rules and regulations. The League of Municipalities has recommended this. The League of Municipalities has also told municipal officers that they can always revisit the issue later and take time to rewrite their ordinances to allow such business under specific circumstances. So I really think that the municipalities, and there was over 100 of them, had adopted ordinances to say that they have complete simply opt out of the legal marijuana industry because they are waiting to see what these guidelines are going to be. And I think that Parsippany should have done the same thing so that they know what the state is going to regulate, because you don't know until they actually propose it. So you could say, okay, we're going to allow this in this zone, and then the state comes along and changes the regulations, and you don't know what they are yet. You don't know what they are. And I don't think it's fair that the state of New Jersey gave municipalities until the 21st of August for them to say what they want to do about what's going to go on in their town, when they don't even have the regulations set until August the 21st. It doesn't seem fair to me. There should be some kind of an extension by the state to the municipalities until these regulations are put into effect. And then, on another note, I appreciate all the hearings that have environmental impact on Parsippany and everything. And it is amazing that this cannabis industry, and I can read you this, in October 2018, reports from the New Jersey Frontier Data identified cannabis as the most energy-intensive agricultural crop produced in the United States. The report predicted that 162 increase in electrical consumption from cannabis cultivation between 2017 and 2022, with an estimated of 472 tons of electric-related carbon produced in 2017 alone. This particular industry not only is going to affect the carbon levels, but also the water levels, because of the increase in the amount of water that is needed to produce this particular plant. And everybody thinks it's a wonderful thing for their taxes, but in the long run, they better really look and see what it's going to do to the environment, for one, and what it's going to do if it's not regulated properly, especially when it comes to the fact that the chemicals that are put on these plants are
30 seconds.
better be something. And the other thing is the traffic that this lady does have, truck traffic in that particular area, Jefferson Road, Eastman's Road, and Parsippany Road, on a daily basis, 24 hours a day. I don't care what you guys say, or what these traffic experts say, that everybody goes on they all take the highways. They don't. They'll stay off of the 80 and 287 because they don't want to get stuck in all of that traffic. So that should be taken into consideration when you're going to do this warehouse distributing stuff. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else on this ordinance only? Seeing no one come forward?
And Council President, I'll just note that the technical amendments I described previously were deemed by me to be non-substantive and not requiring additional notice to the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2021:14 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Non-consent agenda resolution 2021-125, authorizing the mayor to execute deed notices for special activity redevelopment and underground utility lines permit and freshwater wetlands letter of interpretation from the NJ Department of Environmental Protection, authorizing the recording and filing the appropriate deed notices with the Morris County Clerk, and authorizing the submission of proof of filing of deed notices to the NJDEP. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Sorry about that.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Before we have the roll call, I
Appreciate
have,
that, Emily.
before we do the roll call, I have a question. All these, authorizing of the mayor to do all these things, this relates only to well 21, doesn't it?
Correct.
Okay.
So who made the motion real quick?
I did.
Emily, I second.
Okay. So motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. Grenier? Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
R 2021-126, rejecting all proposals for the operation and catering / banquet restaurant, tea house facilities, and provision of related services at the Knoll Country Club. Motion to approve the resolution above?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Mr. Karifi.
Before the roll call, I have a question. In the past, when we've rejected 2 bids, we were, as I understand it, we were allowed to negotiate after that. We don't have to rebid a 3rd time. Mr. Lott, is that true?
That's correct.
Okay, so we don't have to go out for a 3rd rebid.
Well, I think administration has proposed a change in the approach that would require rebidding. And that's something that the administrator and I and Manager Brancato have discussed on several occasions.
I think it should be shared with the council too.
It will be as soon as we come up with a proposal as to what the rebid is going to look like. We discussed that last week, Council President.
Okay. So now we need a roll call.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda, be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are routine and non-controversial by the Township Council, will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Janice?
R 2021-124.
No, that's-
No.
that's-
No?
Payroll.
Oh, the payroll,
Payroll.
I'm sorry. CFO Juan Uribe recommends authorization for payment, authorization of the July 23rd, 2021 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000, and payment of the bills from voucher list of 7/15/21 through 7/17/21 in the amount of $2,175,502.35. Motion to approve the authorization for payment?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Executive session resolution. Whereas the Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss contract negotiations, renewal of the School Resource Officer, SRO, and Class 3 Special Officer, the Leo 3, agreement with Parsippany Troy Hills Township School District, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. Motion to adjourn in a closed session.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Will any action be taken after our closed session?
No action.
Okay, I vote yes.
Okay, so now we're going to adjourn into closed session.
After I go to the menu. Come on, you gotta
All
move
right,
here.
go for it.
I'll entertain a motion to reconvene.
Second. Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
We're back in open session. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy. Ms.
Yes.
McCarthy. Ms. Peterson, Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a good night.
I could have been out of here by a minute earlier if you wouldn't have paused.
I know, I'm sorry.
All right, we are done. Thank you, everyone.